my name is Penelope. I am 29 years old, and this is my story. I loved my husband very much. His name was Leo. When I met him, I thought he was perfect. He had a warm smile and kind eyes. He made me laugh. Life felt bright and happy when I was with him. I was alone for a long time before I met him, so his love felt like sunshine after a long winter. We met at a small park near my apartment. I was reading a book on a bench. He was walking his dog. The dog was small and friendly. It ran up to me. Leo came over to say sorry. He smiled, and my heart felt a little jump. We started talking. It was easy, so easy. We talked for an hour. He asked for my phone number. I gave it to him. I was very happy. We started dating. He was a wonderful boyfriend. He brought me flowers. He listened to my stories about my day. He made me feel important. He made me feel seen. I felt like the luckiest woman in the world. He often talked about his mother. Her name was Alina. He loved her very much. He told me, "My mother is the strongest woman I know. She raised me all by herself." I thought that was sweet. I love my own mother, so I understood. A son who loves his mother is a good man, I thought. I was not wrong about that. He was a good man. He was a good son. But I did not know then what that meant for me. After a few months, I met Alina. She lived in a small house just a few streets away from Leo's apartment. We went there for dinner. I was nervous. I wanted her to like me. She opened the door and smiled. She was a small woman with sharp, intelligent eyes. Her hair was perfectly neat. "So you are Penelope," she said. Her voice was polite, but not warm. Dinner was quiet. She asked me many questions. About my job, about my family, about my plans for the future. I felt like I was in an interview. Leo sat next to me and held my hand under the table. He squeezed it gently. It made me feel a little better. Alina cooked the meal. It was very good. Leo said, "My mother is the best cook in the world." He looked at her with so much love. She smiled a small, proud smile. When we left, Leo asked me, "So, what did you think?" "Isn't she great?" I smiled and said, "She's very nice." I wanted to make him happy. But deep inside, I felt a small, strange feeling. A little cold. I ignored it. I told myself I was just being silly. It was just nerves. A year later, Leo asked me to marry him. We were on that same park bench where we first met. He got down on one knee. He had a beautiful, simple ring. My heart was full of joy. I said yes. I cried happy tears. I was going to marry the man of my dreams. We were going to build a life together. Just the two of us. The first person he called to tell the news was his mother. Of course, I understood. He put the phone on speaker. "Mom," she said yes. He shouted happily. Alina's voice came through the phone. "Well, that's nice, dear. Are you sure about this?" Her voice was flat, cold. My happiness faded a little. "Of course I'm sure, Mom," Leo said, still smiling. He didn't seem to notice her tone. "We love each other." Love is not always enough, Leo, she said. Marriage is a serious thing. Then she said she had to go. She hung up. Leo turned to me and smiled. She'll be happy, really. She's just protective of me. I tried to smile back, but the little cold feeling was back. Stronger this time. We started planning the wedding. And Alina was there for everything. She came with us to look at wedding venues. This one is too expensive, she would say. Or, this one is too far for me to travel. She came with me to look for a wedding dress. I found a dress I loved. It was simple and elegant. I felt beautiful in it. Alina stood with her arms crossed. It's a bit plain, don't you think? Leo's wife should look more impressive. She showed me another dress. It had lots of lace and beads. It was not me at all. I didn't like it. But Leo, who was there too, said, "Mom has good taste, Penelope. Why don't you try it? To make them happy." I did. I stood in front of the mirror in her dress. I felt like I was wearing a costume. I looked sad. But Alina clapped her hands. "Oh, that's much better. You look like a proper bride." Leo smiled. "You look beautiful," he said. So I bought her dress. Not my dress. Our wedding day was nice. But I felt like a guest at my own wedding. Alina planned most of it. The food, the music, the flowers. She told me it was to help me. She said I was too busy with work, but it didn't feel like help. It felt like she was taking over. During the reception, she gave a long speech. It was all about Leo, about his childhood, about how wonderful he was. She mentioned me only once. And I hope Penelope will be a good wife to my son. That was all. After the wedding, we moved into our first house. It was a small, cute house with a little garden. I was so excited. This was our home, our start. We could finally be alone, just a husband and a wife. The first week was wonderful. It was quiet. We unpacked our boxes. We laughed. We ordered pizza and ate it on the floor. It felt like a dream, our dream. Then, on Saturday morning, we were having coffee in bed. Suddenly, we heard the front door open. "Yoo-hoo, it's only me," a voice called out. It was Alina. She walked into our bedroom. I was so surprised. I pulled the blanket up to my neck. Leo sat up and smiled. "Mom, what are you doing here?" "I brought you some breakfast," she said, holding up a bag. And I wanted to see the house properly. She looked around our messy bedroom. Boxes were everywhere. "Oh my," she said, shaking her head. "You two need some help." I asked her, "Alina, how did you get in?" "Leo gave me a key, of course," she said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. "I'm his mother. I need to be able to check on him." She looked at Leo. He just nodded. He didn't see anything wrong. I felt a knot in my stomach. A key. She had a key to our house, our private space. It didn't feel private anymore. It didn't feel like ours. That day, she didn't leave. She started unpacking our kitchen boxes. But she didn't ask where I wanted things. She just put them where she thought they should go. "The plates should go here. It's more practical," she said. moving the plates I had just put away. And Leo likes his coffee mugs on the shelf. It's easier for him. His mugs, his plates, his mother, his house. Where was I in all of this? I felt like a visitor. I tried to talk to Leo that night. Gently. "Leo, honey," I started. "I was a bit surprised that your mom has a key." He was watching TV. He didn't look at me. "Why, she's my mom. What's the big deal?" "Well, it's our house," I said. "Our private space. I think she should call before she comes over." He finally looked at me. His face was not angry, just confused. "But she's family, Penelope. She's not a guest. You are being a little sensitive, don't you think?" Sensitive? That word hurt. It made my feelings sound small, unimportant. I dropped the subject, but the knot in my stomach stayed. It felt like the beginning of something I didn't understand. I was right. It was just the beginning. In our house, there were always 3 people in our marriage. Me, Leo, and his mother. I loved my husband, but I felt so alone. The visits didn't stop. They became a routine. A leaner came over almost every day. Sometimes in the morning, when Leo had already left for work, I would be getting ready, and I'd hear her key in the door. She would walk in and look around, checking everything. "This floor is a bit dirty, Penelope," she might say. Or, "Are you sure you washed these clothes correctly? They don't smell very fresh." She always had advice about everything. My cooking was the biggest problem for her. I liked to try new recipes. I enjoyed cooking. But Aliner's cooking was the only good cooking for Leo. If I made pasta, she would say, "It's nice, dear, but Leo prefers my sauce. It's richer." She would even bring over food she had cooked. She would put it in our fridge. "Here, Leo," she would say to him when he got home. "I made your favorite lasagna. You don't have to eat that." And she would point to the dinner I had spent an hour making. Leo would eat her lasagna. "Mom's lasagna is the best," he would say, smiling at her. He didn't mean to hurt me. I know that. He just loved his mother and her food. But it did hurt. It made me feel like I wasn't good enough, like I couldn't even feed my own husband properly. My kitchen didn't feel like my kitchen. It felt like her territory. I tried to make the house feel like mine, our home. I bought new curtains for the living room. They were a beautiful, sunny yellow. I thought they made the room look happy. I spent a whole afternoon hanging them. I was proud. When Leo came home, he didn't notice at first. But his mother, who came over for dinner, saw them immediately. She stood in the middle of the living room and stared at them. She didn't say anything for a long time. Then she said, "Yellow. That's a very bold choice, Penelope." She turned to Leo. "Leo, darling, do you really like this color? It's a bit bright. It might give you a headache." Leo looked at the curtains. Then he looked at his mother. Then back at the curtains. "I don't know, Mom. I guess it is a bit bright," he said slowly. "Maybe a blue would be better, calmer." My heart sank. I loved those yellow curtains. But the next day, Leo came home from work with a bag. Inside were new curtains. They were a dark, boring blue. Eleanor's favorite color. Mom helped me pick them out, he said proudly. Aren't they better? I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But I just nodded. I took down my sunny yellow curtains, and I hung up the dark, sad blue ones. The living room felt cold after that. It wasn't just the house. It was our life, our decisions. We needed a new car. Our old one was getting unreliable. I wanted a small, fun car, something easy to drive in the city. Leo agreed. We went to a car dealership one Saturday. We found a car we both liked. We were excited. That night, Leo told his mother about the car. The next morning, she called him. She talked for a long time. After the call, Leo came to me. He looked worried. Mom thinks that car is not safe enough, he said. She says we need something bigger, more solid. She found another car for us to look at. A family car. But Leo, we're not a family yet, I said. It's just us. We don't need a big car. But we might have a family one day, he said. Mom is just thinking ahead. She's being practical. Let's just go look at it. For her. So we went. The car was big and slow. I didn't like it. It felt like driving a bus. But Eleanor was there. She told Leo all the reasons it was a better car. This one has more airbags, Leo. It's safer for you, she said, touching his arm. She looked at him with worried eyes. He melted. He always melted when she looked at him like that. We bought the big, slow car. Every time I drove it, I felt a little bit of anger, a little bit of sadness. It was another reminder, a reminder that my opinion didn't matter. Her opinion was the only one that counted. Our weekends were not our own. Every Sunday, we had to go to Eleanor's house for dinner. It was not a question. It was a rule. I wanted us to have our own traditions. Maybe a lazy Sunday morning with brunch, or a long walk in the park, just us. But Leo would always say, we can't miss Sunday dinner. It would break Mom's heart. So we went. Every Sunday. I would sit at her table. I would listen to her and Leo talk. They talked about things from his childhood, people I didn't know, jokes I didn't understand. I felt like an outsider, watching my husband and his mother be a family, while I just sat there, quietly. I remember our first wedding anniversary. I was so excited. I planned a special evening. I booked a table at our favorite restaurant, the one where Leo first told me he loved me. I wanted it to be romantic, just for us, to celebrate our first year as husband and wife. I told Leo about my plan. He was happy. That sounds wonderful, honey, he said. The day of our anniversary, he called me from work. His voice was strange. Penelope, he said, I have a small problem. My heart dropped. What's wrong? I asked. Well, I told Mom about our dinner plans, he said. And well, she's a bit sad. She's all alone tonight. She said it's hard for her on special days, since Dad passed away. She asked if maybe she could join us. I was silent. I couldn't believe it. Our anniversary dinner. He wanted to bring his mother to our romantic anniversary dinner. Leo, I said, my voice shaking. It's our anniversary. I know, he said quickly. And we will celebrate. But I just feel so bad for her. She sounded so lonely. Would it be so terrible if she came? Please, Penelope, for me. For me. He always said that. And like a fool, I always gave in. I didn't want to make him unhappy. I loved him. So I said yes. I canceled the restaurant booking. We had dinner at home. The three of us. Alina brought a casserole. She talked the whole evening about her own wedding, about her marriage. Leo listened, smiling. He held her hand. He forgot to hold mine. It was the loneliest anniversary of my life. I went to bed that night and cried silently into my pillow. Leo was sleeping beside me, but I had never felt more alone. The worst part was the feeling of being invisible. My thoughts, my feelings, my desires, they didn't seem to matter. If I wanted one thing and Alina wanted another, Leo would always choose her. Always. He didn't do it to be cruel. He just genuinely believed his mother knew best. About everything. We planned a vacation once. A real vacation. 2 weeks at the beach. It was my dream. I had never seen the ocean. I bought a new swimsuit. I bought books to read on the sand. I imagined walking on the beach with Leo, holding his hand. Just the two of us. Away from everything. Away from her. We booked the tickets. We booked a small, romantic hotel room with a balcony overlooking the sea. I was counting the days. It felt like a chance for us. A chance to reconnect. To be a husband and wife again. 2 days before we were supposed to leave, Leo came home looking nervous. I knew that look. It was his. I've talked to my mother look. What is it, Leo? I asked. He sat down. He wouldn't look at me. Mom is not feeling very well, he said. She's not sick, just a bit down. She says she's been very lonely lately. He paused. I was thinking, our hotel room has a sofa bed. There's enough space. I knew what he was going to say, but I couldn't believe he would. No, Leo, I said, please don't. She's never seen the ocean, Penelope, he said, his voice soft and pleading. It would make her so happy. It would be good for her. Please, it won't change our trip. We'll still have fun. But it did change our trip. It changed everything. I didn't want to fight. I felt too tired to fight, so I agreed. Again, the vacation was a disaster. Alina came with us. We had to change our hotel room to a bigger, less romantic one. She was with us every moment. On the beach, she complained that the sun was too hot. She didn't like the sand. At dinner, she complained that the food was too spicy or too strange. Leo spent the whole time trying to make her happy. He got her drinks. He put up an umbrella for her. He walked slowly with her along the shore. I tried to get some time alone with him. One evening, I asked him if we could go for a walk on the beach after his mother went to bed. I'm too tired, Penelope, he said with a yawn. Mom was a lot of work today. I went for a walk by myself. I stood in front of the dark ocean. The waves crashed on the shore. I heard the sound of laughter from a nearby restaurant. I saw a couple walking, holding hands, and I cried. I cried for the vacation I had dreamed of. I cried for the husband I felt I was losing. I was in the most beautiful place, but I was completely, utterly alone. He was there, but he wasn't with me. He was with her. The constant presence of a leaner in our lives was like a slow poison. It seeped into everything and killed the love and joy between me and Leo. Our house was not a home. It was a stage where we all played our parts. He was the devoted son. She was the loving mother. And I was the quiet, unimportant wife in the corner. I started to feel angry, not just sad, angry. I was angry at her for not letting go of her son, for not letting him have his own life. But mostly, I was angry at Leo. He was my husband. He was supposed to be my partner, my protector. He was supposed to choose me, but he never did. I tried to talk to him again, many times, but it was always the same conversation. "You are being unfair to my mother," he would say. "She loves us. She only wants to help." Or, "Why can't you two just get along? It would make my life so much easier." His life. He wanted his life to be easier. But what about my life? What about my happiness? It felt like my happiness was not important in his equation. The most important thing was his mother's happiness and his own peace. I remember one night, I got very sick. I had a high fever. My whole body ached. I asked Leo if he could go to the pharmacy to get me some medicine. It was late, around 10 p.m., "Of course, honey," he said. But before he left, he called his mother. He told her I was sick. 20 minutes later, the doorbell rang. It wasn't Leo with my medicine. It was Alina. She came into the bedroom with a bag of strange-smelling herbs. "This is a special tea my grandmother used to make," she said, ignoring my weak protests. "It's much better than that chemical medicine." She started boiling water in our kitchen, making noises. Leo came back. He didn't have my medicine. "Mom said I shouldn't get it," he said. "She's making you her tea. You'll feel better soon." I didn't want her tea. I wanted medicine. I wanted to be alone. I wanted my husband to take care of me, not his mother. I felt like a child, powerless. I drank the strange, bitter tea. The fever didn't go away. I felt even worse. And the whole time, Alina sat by my bed, telling Leo stories about how she used to take care of him when he was a sick little boy. I closed my eyes and pretended to be asleep. I just wanted them to leave me alone. I felt myself disappearing. The real Penelope, the one who loved yellow curtains and funny cars and dreaming of the ocean, she was gone. I was becoming quiet, sad, a shadow in my own home. My friends noticed. "You seem different, Penelope," my best friend, Sarah, told me over coffee one day. "You're so quiet now. Is everything okay?" I wanted to tell her everything. I wanted to scream and cry and tell her how lonely I was, how trapped I felt. But I was ashamed. It felt like my failure. I had failed to make my marriage work. I had failed to be the number one person in my husband's life. So I just smiled my fake smile. "I'm just tired," I said. "Work has been busy." She didn't believe me, but she didn't push. The days went on. The weeks. The months. Nothing changed. In fact, it got worse. Alina started making comments about us having children. "When are you going to give me a grandchild, Penelope?" she would ask at the dinner table. "Leo needs a son to carry on the family name. You're not getting any younger." It was humiliating. Leo would just laugh nervously and change the subject. He never defended me. He never told her to stop. I felt like I was in a cage. A nice cage with a nice house and a husband who didn't shout or hit me. But it was a cage, and I was slowly losing myself inside it. I knew something had to change. I couldn't live like this forever, but I didn't know what to do. I still loved Leo, or at least, I loved the man I thought he was. The man I met in the park. But that man seemed to be gone, replaced by a boy who could never leave his mother. The turning point came in the spring. It was unexpected. I worked at a small art gallery. I loved my job. It was my one small space that was truly mine. Alina had no interest in art, so she never came there. My boss told me about an amazing opportunity, a promotion. The gallery was opening a new, bigger branch in another city. A city about 3 hours away. They wanted me to manage it. It was a huge step, a big responsibility, and a chance to start something new. My heart beat fast when she told me. I was excited, but I was also scared. It would mean moving. It would mean leaving our house, leaving Alina. I went home that evening feeling a mix of hope and fear. This could be our chance. A chance for me and Leo to start again. In a new city, just the two of us. We could build our own life, away from her influence, away from her daily visits and her blue curtains. I made a special dinner. I waited for Leo to come home. I was so nervous. When he walked in, I told him my news. At first, he seemed excited for me. "Wow, Penelope, that's amazing," he said. He hugged me. "Manager, I'm so proud of you." I felt a wave of relief. He was happy. Maybe this could work. It would mean moving, I said carefully, to the new city. His smile faded a little. "Oh, right, moving," he sat down. "That's a big change." "I know," I said, sitting next to him. "But think about it, Leo. It could be a wonderful adventure, a new city, a new start just for us." I held his hand. We could be so happy. He was quiet for a long time. "I need to think about it," he said finally. And I knew what that meant. He needed to talk to his mother. The next day was a Saturday. He went to see Alina in the morning. He said he was going alone to break the news gently. I waited at home. My stomach was in knots. I paced the floor. I cleaned the house. I did anything to keep my mind busy. This was it. This was our future being decided. In her living room. He was gone for hours. When he finally came back, I knew from the look on his face. It was over. He looked pale and sad, defeated. He walked into the living room and sat on the sofa. The sofa with the dark blue pillows that she had chosen. "Well," I asked, my voice a small whisper. He wouldn't look at me. He looked at the floor. "We can't go, Penelope," he said. "What do you mean, we can't go?" I asked, even though I knew. "Leo, this is a huge opportunity for me. For us." "Mom was very upset," he said. His voice was flat. "She cried. She said I was abandoning her only son. She said she's getting older. She needs me here. What if something happens to her and I'm 3 hours away?" I felt a cold anger spread through my chest. "Leo, your mother is perfectly healthy, and we would only be 3 hours away. We could visit every weekend. It's not like we are moving to another country. You don't understand," he said, finally looking at me. His eyes were pleading. "She relies on me. She has no one else. She said if I loved her, I would stay." And there it was, the final choice: love for his mother or love for his wife, the future we could have, or the past he couldn't let go of. I stood in front of him. I felt strangely calm. The sadness was so deep, it was like a quiet, still lake inside me. There were no more tears left. "She asked you to choose," I said. It wasn't a question. He looked down again. He couldn't deny it. He just nodded slowly. "And you chose her," I whispered. He started to cry then. Softly. "I'm sorry, Penelope," he said. "I love you, I really do. But she's my mother, I can't break her heart." He couldn't break her heart, but he could break mine. In that moment, everything became clear. It was not a battle I could win. I was never going to be his number one. I was always going to be second. Our marriage was not a partnership of 2 people. It was a triangle. And I was the one on the outside. I looked at my husband, the man I loved, and I knew I had to leave him. Not just for the job, but for me, for my sanity, for my future. I couldn't disappear completely. I couldn't live as a shadow for the rest of my life. "I understand," I said. My voice was steady. "I understand you need to stay and take care of your mother." I took a deep breath. "But I need to go and take care of myself." He looked up, shocked. "What do you mean?" "I'm taking the job, Leo," I said. "I'm moving to the new city. Alone." The days after that were a blur. I packed my life into boxes. It was sad, but it was also liberating. I packed my yellow curtains. I packed the books I loved. I packed the parts of me that I had hidden away for so long. Leo was like a ghost in the house. He was sad. He was confused. He kept saying, "I don't want this. I don't want to lose you." But he never said, "Don't go. I'll come with you." He couldn't say those words because his mother's needs were louder than his love for me. The day I left, Alina did not come to say goodbye. Leo helped me put the last box in my car. He was crying. "Please don't go, Penelope," he begged. I touched his face. "I have to, Leo. I have to find a life where I am not lonely. A life where I am a priority." I kissed him on the cheek, one last time. "Goodbye, Leo." I got in my car. I didn't look back. I drove away from the house with the blue curtains. I drove away from the man I loved. I drove towards a future that was unknown and scary, but it was mine. The first few months in the new city were hard. I was truly alone now, in a new apartment, with a new job. Some nights I cried. I missed Leo. I missed the good times we had in the beginning. But the loneliness I felt was different. It was a clean loneliness, not the heavy, suffocating loneliness of being invisible in my own marriage. My new job was wonderful. I was good at it. People respected my ideas. I made decisions. I felt strong. I felt capable. I started making friends. I joined a book club. I started painting again, a hobby I had forgotten about. I filled my new, small apartment with color, with things that I loved. It was my space, truly mine. Slowly, I began to heal. I learned that a marriage should be a team of two people who choose each other every day, over everyone and everything else. Leo was a good son. I will always believe that. But he was not ready to be a husband. He couldn't be both. I learned that you cannot make someone choose you. Love should not be a competition. And if you are in a competition, you have already lost. The most important thing I learned was that I had to choose myself. My happiness mattered. My dreams mattered. I mattered. Now my life is quiet. But it is a peaceful quiet. It is a happy quiet. I am not a shadow anymore. I am Penelope. I am the manager of a beautiful art gallery. I have friends who make me laugh. I have a home that is sunny and yellow. Sometimes I still feel sad about Leo. I hope he is happy. But I know I made the right choice. The choice to walk away. The choice to save myself. If you are listening to this, and maybe you feel lost or invisible in your own life, maybe you feel like you are not a priority, please know that you are not alone. It is okay to feel scared, but it is not okay to disappear. Your voice matters. Your feelings matter. You have to be the first person to choose you. It can be the hardest thing you ever do, but it is also the bravest. And your freedom, your peace, is worth it. You are stronger than you think. You can do this too. Keep going.